nice to meet you. How is everything? Feeling good?
Alright, it's going alright. Glad to be here.
No worries. So you told me you're a talker. I'm not going to interrupt you too much, and on your countdown, I think they'll be ready for you.
Alright, sounds good. So I guess here, let me just bring up the stream window just in case I can see any chats and free time and downtime. Alright. Alright, I guess we're good to go. So I guess I'll give a countdown to start off in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so hey, I'm Yoda Cage, and this is my speed game Kororinpa Marble Mania. It is actually a launch title for the Wii that no one knows about. It came out in Japan in 2006 and then 2007 in other regions. It's basically similar to like ball rolling games that most people know, like Monkey Ball or Marble Blast. As you can see, I'm just rolling the marble around the stage, except the one unique difference is that I'm doing all movement with the tilting of the Wiimote. I have a full 360 degrees of control, as you can see all around here. And all of that control allows me to do stuff like this. So, this game does not have a jump button. So any jumps that I'm going to be doing are basically I'm just bumping up my wrist and manipulating the stage to launch me where I want to go. And that's kind of the meta of this run, is just kind of incorporating these jumps to just fly through levels. Basically how the levels work is you have to collect all the orange crystals in each level and then reach the goal. So generally the optimization in the game is going to be just get all the crystals as fast as possible and then reach the goal. And part of that involves, if there's parts of levels that don't have any crystals, we generally don't want to go there. We want to just go to the parts of the level where there are crystals, and that involves very often sequence breaking the levels. Like, I'm just kind of jumping across gaps to just skip parts of levels and just speed it up. This is the first world, it's Park, so it's many shorter levels, so there's not too many skips overall. I'm just doing kind of small jumps across gaps and stuff like that. Crap. And levels like this don't really have any skips whatsoever. So yeah, that's kind of the general gist of the run. This level coming up, I'm going to be doing what's called a reset. So if I press A at any point in the level, so like right here, I go back to the start of the level and there's a small animation that plays before I can start moving again. But the good thing about that is even if I reset, I keep all of my crystals that I've collected so far. So what that means is that I can basically go get a few crystals, reset, and then go a different direction of a level and collect different crystals. And that's useful to break some levels in terms of routing. It's just more optimal that way. So you're gonna see that pretty often. And resetting like that, if you think that, like if I think I'm gonna fall off and die, I generally try to reset as fast as possible, just so I don't lose as much time. Because if I, that was, almost got that jump. If I die normally, there's a few seconds of animation that plays before I can start moving again, whereas if I reset, it's faster. So it's good for me to react to falling off the stage as fast as possible and reset. Alright, 1 second. Alright, so that was Park. Now we're moving on to the second world of the game, it's just Candyland. There's a pretty tough skip here, let's see if I can get it. I haven't gotten it in a marathon yet. Ah, dang it. I used to be pretty good at that. Basically, I can jump straight to the top and skip the moving platform if I have a really good jump, but it's a really awkward angle. And see right there, I just fell off but instantly reset. Just reacting to resets as fast as possible is part of not losing too much time. And alright, so next level. Yeah, generally, there's not many differences in terms of like gameplay between the first couple worlds. It's just different music, different background, and then different aesthetics with the pieces of the stages, so obviously different theme for that. Okay, yeah. Good backup here, yeah. There we go. So, and a lot of the meta of running this game as well is you're gonna die a lot. So you basically, I have to recognize what the best way to get back to where I was is as fast as possible, and then kind of just jump back to where I was quickly. So knowing my backups, like really well and then executing them properly is really important for minimizing time loss. Otherwise, I'll just die like multiple times in a row. In terms of tasking this game, I have tried in the past, but it's really awkward because I need like a Bluetooth adapter in my desktop, and I need to be able to like saving and loading states with the Wiimote. It's just I want to make a task of this game in the future, but it would be really hard. So nothing yet in terms of that. But yeah, that's definitely Alright, actually, let's see. I have a few hard jumps here. Let's see if I can get them. So yeah, almost. So one of the big things in a lot of shorter levels at the start is some of them have cannons, but going into cannon and doing the animation for the cannon is pretty slow. It takes a few seconds, so it's generally faster to jump over the cannons if you can and skip them, as I did. Alright, here I just have to wait for some cycles here for this level. Okay. And another interesting thing to note is in the top left corner, you can see the time that I'm taking to finish the level, obviously, and the time right below that is actually my ILPB. So whenever I finish a level, you can kind of compare with my ILPB to kind of see like how fast the level could be done, like just in an individual level setting versus what I'm getting. Some levels is pretty similar since the route is similar, but and some other levels there's like much crazier routes for like a single level that aren't viable in a full game run. Oh, okay, my finger slipped. One annoying thing about this game sometimes is it pauses on the B button, so if I'm trying to do jumps and I'm like bumping up my wrist, my finger sometimes slips and hits the B button. Alright, come on, give me this back up, please. Alright, better. And one other thing to mention is that the reason that you're seeing my ILPBs in the top left corner is because I'm running on New Game Plus, as you can tell from the game category. And there's a couple reasons that the main category of this game is done on New Game Plus. The first reason is that it starts with all the levels unlocked, so you don't have to worry about unlock requirements during the run. You can just, the goal of the run is just to beat all the levels as fast as possible. So you kind of just tailored towards making the category more efficient, more akin to like any percent type category. The second main reason is that I'm using this ball called the Flash Ball. By the way, this is the third world. We're in Daytown now. It's gonna introduce a few new mechanics, like conveyor belts. There's gonna be checkpoints are gonna be introduced, and magnifying glasses are gonna be introduced at the end of the world. I'll explain those as I come up on them later. So, as I was mentioning before, I'm using the Flash Ball. This is a ball that you get once you beat the main 45 levels of the game, the base 45 levels. And the good thing about this marble is that it allows you to edit its stats. So essentially what I can do is I can edit all of the stats to make it as optimal for speedrunning as possible, right? So there's 4 different stats. There's response, there's slide, there's speed, and there's bounce. So for response, slide, and speed, all of them are kind of related to the movement of the ball. And if I max those stats out, then basically the ball just goes as fast as possible. So that's what I do for those. And for bounce, I minimize that stat. Because basically, if I'm ever doing big jumps or if I'm moving really fast and getting a lot of collisions, if I minimize the bounce stat, that reduces the chance that I'm just going to like bounce and fly off the stage. So those stats just allow it for like very fast and like less unexpected control of the ball. Like I'm just like everything just it makes it a much more one-to-one and more controllable. So that's kind of the reason why we use this. So yeah, that's basically just makes the run as fast as possible and entertaining as possible, and like it just increases the skill ceiling overall. So yeah, those are just a few of the reasons.
The skill ceiling is just so incredibly high here. Like,
yeah.
the chat has just been going about how dizzying and just the control you have and your motor skills. I don't think anyone's breathed in the last 8 minutes. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I have a lot of experience with this game. Like, I've literally, like, I played this game, like, off and on, like, since I was a kid back in, like maybe I want to say almost a decade ago is the first time I've ever played this game. And then, like, I played it a bunch as a kid, played a lot of, like, individual level stuff, and then I started doing full game runs of this game, like, 4 years ago at this point. So I just have an insane amount of experience with this game. I just know how to control the ball very well. I know all the levels, like, down to a T. So, yeah, it just comes from a lot of experience. But even in terms of the skill ceiling, like, this run may look really, really good so far. The current record for this game, the full game record held by me, is a 26:38. But like, there is no task for this game currently. But if you were to put all of the individual levels of the game and like add them all up, the individual level records, the time would be a high 21-minute time. So literally, there is like between like the current full game record and what's possible, there's like another 4.5 minutes to save and more. So, like,
not quite the difference there. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. The main thing is that you can just go for crazier routes. There's some levels that I'm going to be going for, like, routes that are much safer than what you can do in individual levels, just because, like, in a full game setting, I have to consider, okay, if I die doing a route, how much time is it going to cost? And generally for the individual level routes, if you die during it, it loses a lot more time, but it doesn't matter because you're just going for one level, right? So a lot of the time loss just comes from me doing safer routes. There's other time loss that comes from, there's some skips that I don't do in full game, because another thing I wanted to mention is the camera. So in a game like Monkey Ball, right, the camera follows you. You can always see where you're going. In this game, it doesn't. It's always in one consistent angle. So if you are trying to do skips where you're jumping backwards, you cannot see where you're going at all. So stuff like that is more of an individual level kind of strat. Whereas you can just jump backwards in an individual level, and if you mess the jump up, you can just restart. In a full game setting, that's a death that's going to cost time. So I generally don't do any backwards jumps. So that's another part of a meta of like what's different between individual levels and full game runs. So that's
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of like, there's a lot of really hard strats in this run, obviously, but there's just a lot of even more insane strats at individual levels. And I want to plug, if anybody wants to see the individual level records for this game, you can go just look up Cyberscore, Kororinpa, and all of the current world records have videos associated with them. I have about 1/3 of the records in the game, and we have the other top runner of this game, Callum, who people have probably heard of for his Monkey Ball runs, among other games. He has like 2/3 of the records in this game. So all the records in Cyberscore have YouTube links that if you want to see this game being broken even more at an individual level type of scale, then definitely go to Cyberscore, because some of the runs there are absurd. But yeah. Alright, and I thought I saw a question in chat about New Game Plus, so I can get to that in 1 second. Alright.
Oh, the question was, is New Game Plus the main category that people run? It sounds like there's not much reason to run without it.
Yeah, it is the main category. There's a couple other categories. There is an 80% category where you start from a new file, play with the basic marbles, and beat the main 45 levels. There's also 100%, which isn't nearly as optimized. It's about an hour and a half, where basically you start with a new file, basically beat all the levels, unlock all the marbles, and there's a setting in this game where you play with mirror levels sometimes. Well, basically you can swap between normal levels and mirror levels, and it's basically just the same set of levels, but they're rotated just like mirrored, so like left is right and right is left. Not in terms of the controls, but just in terms of the level layout.
Oh, good. You made my heart stop with that one.
Yeah, no. No, playing this game with inverted controls would be awful. But yeah, no, it's just the level layout. It's kind of funny because there's a couple levels in this game that are symmetric, so the mirror version's identical, which is kind of funny, but yeah. So 100% involves beating all of those levels as well. So it's not as interesting of a run, but it's there. But yeah, New Game Plus is definitely the main category, just because it's just beat all the levels as fast as possible with the fastest marble, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah. Alright. So, another thing I wanted to mention is, in terms of levels that are huge but don't have a lot of crystals, those levels are much more susceptible to having big skips. So a level like this, I'm literally skipping like 80% of the level, just because I need to go where the crystals are. And that's the only places I really need to go, and then reach the goal. So I can just completely sequence break a level like this. Another thing that I've been doing is, so I mentioned earlier in Park how if you reset to the start of the level, you can use that to kind of break the routing of a level. It works the same way, where if you get a checkpoint, if you reset, you go back to the last checkpoint you got. So you can do a similar sequence breaks in levels like that if you just get a checkpoint and reset back to it. So it's a lot of like, in terms of the routing of this level, a lot was taken into account in terms of where you can reset, what checkpoints can you reset back to, and when, stuff like that. So yeah.
You're mostly just getting a lot of compliments on. I mean, I mentioned earlier we can't breathe while you're doing this, and you're holding a full conversation.
Yeah. Most of these levels are just built into my muscle memory at this point. So, alright, here's a pretty.
You're just getting compliments left and right.
I do appreciate all of them. Thank you. So that skip was pretty hard. I only started incorporating that skip to full game runs like a few months ago. It saves about 5 seconds, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Alright. And now we're in Night Town. So this is, there's only 5 levels in this world. Alright, let's see if I can get this skip. Nice, got it. Just because some of the levels are longer and more difficult, so there's not as many, obviously. Oh, come on. And then, there's one level that's pretty short, but the rest of them are pretty difficult and have some hard skips, so this one's not too bad, though. But there's definitely, as you can see, as I progress through the game, there's less walls to save me, they're longer and more difficult levels in general, so I just have to stay on point for most of my strats, usually. There. Okay, cool. That was decent.
You're getting compliments now for the casual flicks to do perfect jumps and making the Wiimote look precise.
Yeah, pretty much. The game's controls are like really, like good, so it allows me to do all these jumps with consistency just because of how accurate the controls are. So, yeah, it's definitely something I've just gotten used to. I just know exactly where to go at any given point, really. Speaking of backwards jumps, remember how I said I wouldn't do them? There's some where I do them, just because the angle's not as bad. So, yeah. But in terms of a thing like that, also wait, don't blink or you'll miss this level. Just a warning.
Oh, okay. Eyes are open.
There you go. Okay, done. Only level in the game where there's no crystals whatsoever, so I just jump straight to the end.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention is if I'm going off the start of a level or off of a checkpoint, sometimes I don't need to jump because, like I said, there's an animation before I can start moving where I'm like stuck to the ground. Hold on. I got that skip, cool. Oh, and I fell off afterwards. Whatever, that's okay. If basically during the animation where I'm stuck to the ground before I move, I can use that to set up an angle. So I can just hold my Wiimote in a certain angle, and then instantly when I start, I'll start traveling in that direction. I use that a couple times in the past to like set up angles to like skip cannons or just to gain a lot of height out of nowhere. I can also use that after I get launched out of a cannon. Normally I said I wouldn't go into cannons because the animation takes a while, but later I'm going to be doing a skip where I actually, like here, I can't move while I'm being shot out of a cannon. It's just a set trajectory. So again, I can use that time to set up an angle for a skip, but I'll do that a bit later on. Alright, didn't fall off there.
They're useful in that manner.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. So like, resetting back, I can break the route of a level, but I can also use it to make some skips easier. Ah, I messed up that. That's okay. There's a pretty fast backup for that. There, and I'll just jump over here. No, okay, that was... Never mind. Alright, I'm gonna be a lot safer for this backup now. Yeah, see, these levels are space. These have pretty much some of the most punishing deaths in the entire game, right? There's not as many checkpoints, the levels are really long, so if I die, I'm losing a lot of time on average. So yeah, it's okay. Like, I can tell you how many record pace runs I've choked just because I've died like 2 times in space, and then I've lost like upwards of 20 seconds just because the places I died were just really unforgiving overall. So, yeah, it's definitely brutal. Like, I've already died 3 times on space just because of how brutal it is to do consistently with the kind of marble I'm using in terms of its stats.
You mentioned earlier when you were talking about different kinds of runs and different kinds of marbles. So for those of us unfamiliar, what's special about your ball here?
Yeah, sure. So this is the flash ball, and basically the main thing that's special about this is I can just edit the stats. So I just crank up the speed and minimize the bounce stat. It basically just allows me to move as fast as possible throughout the levels. And then also minimizing the bounce stat means that I just don't fly in directions that I don't want to fly around in when I'm doing like huge jumps and stuff. It's just completely optimized for speedrunning. Actually, I used to, when I wasn't as good as the game, I used to swap towards, oh, come on, this skip is annoying. Yeah, see, like, deaths like this are just pretty punishing. There we go. I used to swap to the panda ball, which is the slowest ball in the game, which is a pretty surprising switch for people that probably don't know anything about this game. But for some harder levels, I quit out of the level and swapped to the panda ball because while it's very slow, it's a lot more, a lot easier to control. Its airspeed is really slow, so I can just do pinpoint accuracy jumps with the panda ball. So like some skips that I wasn't as good with flash ball, if they were critical to saving a lot of time, I would use panda ball. All right, here's what I was talking about using the cannon to set up an angle to skip. So there, I used the cannon. Oh, dang it, I died there. Well, whatever. That was the skip. So yeah, that was kind of using the set trajectory of a cannon to get the angle I want to get up high. But I messed up a jump at the top, so I died. Dying up here is basically one of the most punishing deaths in the game because I have to go through all of those cannons again. Lose about 20 seconds if I die at the wrong spot, but decided I tried the jumps once, and if I mess any of them up, then I just do it the normal way. And there we go. Nice. Yeah, the space.
Oh, like this. There's no time in between.
Yeah, it's a pretty fast-paced run. Also, this is the hardest level in the game, but it is the most sequence-broken level in the entire game. So. This is like the main level that I used the panda ball on for a long time. Like literally up until a few months ago in full game runs. So flash ball in here is pretty brutal. So hopefully I can get everything pretty smooth. I'm gonna focus a bit here. Alright, and then there's just a few really hard jumps at the end. Hopefully I can get them all first try. So 1, 2. Oh, nice! I still hit it. Nice. Alright, got all of them first try.
Oh my god.
Alright, so that was Spacey. That was the hardest level in the run. That was pretty clean. 44 second time's pretty solid. So, glad I got that. And my ILPB for that level is a 33 second time, because there's an IL route that just... It says, screw it, I'm gonna skip all the checkpoints and just go in, like, to all the crystals way more directly, and it's a lot harder, but it saves like 10 seconds, so. Just to give you an idea, if there's any IL I'd recommend watching from this game, it's definitely Space E, because I spent a lot of time getting a good run on that level. Alright, so that was Space, now we're in Secrets. So we went from some of the longest and most difficult levels in the game to these are much shorter levels, and they're very gimmicky levels. So for instance, this level's like, the developers were like, hey, let's just make a level with like flat ground and just throw 70 crystals onto the stage. So, it's gonna be kind of stuff like that.
Like the hardest part is over now?
Yeah, no, this is just the last set of levels. These are the secret levels that you get from like collecting secret green crystals from a new file, and they unlock these levels. So these are meant to be more like kind of like fun, like gimmicky levels, just because like here you unlock the secret level, here's a fun level. It's kind of the mentality. But this category is basically these are considered in the set of all normal levels, so these are played in full game as well. And there's still some of the levels are pretty difficult still. Like these are pretty short, but some of the latter half of the secrets are pretty tough.
Like I'm sorry from the start, the space one.
Yeah, no, that. Yeah, pretty much. They're like, here, have some more fun levels. But yeah, there aren't too many skips in this set of levels compared to the harder levels that I played before. But there's just some cool optimizations and just trying to minimize deaths throughout the level. That's kind of the strats for these levels. All right. This one just. Did not miss any here. That was pretty good. Oh, come on. Yeah, one annoying thing about this game can be depth perception. It's sometimes hard to tell how forward or back I am. So, if I like miss a line, then I can sometimes like miss the stage or a goal because I think I'm farther forward than I am or something. So that's just kind of comes with experience. But even as much experience as I have, it's kind of sometimes difficult to tell where I am. Just because if I'm like falling down, there's like in midair, there's no reference point. The ball's always the same distance from the camera, so.
Oh, I gotcha. No, you mentioned that. I'm like, I've been barely keeping my eye on the ball. I don't know how you are.
Yeah. Yeah, it can throw me off sometimes if I get too much speed or if I fall in a direction I'm not prepared for. Also, motion sickness, the level. Watch out. If you thought this game was already motion sickness inducing, you're not gonna like this level.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's not pretty.
Oh my god.
So normally you're so slowly supposed to climb up back and forth along like ridges, but the fastest way is just to turn your controller upside down and go back and forth.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty bad. All right. This level, while this level may look boring, it's actually pretty interesting in terms of routing and probably the biggest choke point in terms of secrets because there's a lot of jumps I need to do for this level. Oh, come on. See, that was another instance of I was rolling slightly too far angled down. Oh no, it's over here. Crap. My bad. Alright, there. Clip off of that. Yeah. I've lost multiple PB pace runs to this level as well before. Alright. There. And then instead of doing a backwards jump here, I'm going to reset. Because it's just a lot safer in terms of a full game setting. Alright. And then clip off of this. Ah, yeah. Again, I thought I was farther forward than I was. So that's what contributes to a lot of death. Death is just depth perception, not going the way I want it to. Alright. 6 more levels. This is basically the home stretch of the run. That was probably the hardest secret. There's a couple others that are a bit annoying, but glad I got that one out of the way. There. Ending of this level is a little bit annoying. Fall straight down here. And then I have to get these guys. And then get that. Alright, that went pretty well. I know, 11. This is one of the levels I was mentioning before where it's the same same version as the mirror level, because it's completely symmetric, so. No one really plays the, I mean did I say mirror? Yeah, that's what I meant, on the mirror level. No one plays the mirror levels in terms of like grinding individual levels, because it's basically this. It's pretty much the same level. So people, when we do individual levels, we basically pretty much always play the normal levels and just try to optimize the times. So there's not much point to playing the mirror levels.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Also, here's a Christmas tree. So yeah, remember gimmicky levels. This is pretty much the most gimmicky level. It's not very fun to play, but it's definitely nice to look at. Snowflakes around. And there's a snowman at the bottom. We're gonna say hi to him when we get there.
Wait, have you named him? You've known him for 10 years.
I have not named him. No, you could give him a name if you want. There he is. Hello.
Oh, hi.
That's a really good idea. I should give him a name.
You should have the honor of that.
I'll give it to I'll come up with one with the community. There's other people that should have a say too. All right, there. Oh, come on. Come on. All right, this one's pretty annoying. Okay. So in Secret 4 it was a dog show. Now we're also in a dog show, but it's harder. Just more difficult stuff all around. There. And then finish the. Oh wait, I missed it. Wait, did I miss a crystal? Okay, that's okay. Oh, how did I miss that? Okay, so depth perception again.
Oh no!
I went through the tube, but oh, I thought I died there. Okay, this is annoying. Back up, please. Okay, I'm just choking on this level. Come on, just finish off strong, please. Good enough. Yeah, so you can go through that tube and miss the crystal, and it's really annoying sometimes, but whatever. Alright, so that was bad. We're gonna ignore that level. I definitely lost like 20 seconds, 25 seconds on that level, but it's okay. Alright, hopefully this run will still be sub 30. Finish off strong. Alright. Oh, come on. Okay, I can back this up. Nice. That was fine. Ignore that. I did not die. That's the important part. Alright, there. Oh, come on. Okay, and another interesting thing to mention is the crystals' hitboxes are tied to their sprites. So, like, it's not a rectangle. So you can, like, pass straight over the corner of a crystal and you can just miss it completely. Alright, final level. So get ready for time at the end of this level. Should be in about 30 seconds if I don't completely choke on it. Because there's no checkpoints here. So. Alright, come on. Alright, this should still be sub 30. not a very good run for my standards, but it's whatever. Come on. Okay, just have to make sure I don't fall off here. Alright, it should be good. And 3, 2, 1, time. Alright, oh, what is that, like a 2940 something? 2939, okay.
Yep.
Not good for my standards, but, because, like, that's about 3 minutes off my record, but it's whatever. So yeah, that's Kororinpa Marble Mania. Guess I'll plug my socials. It's basically everything is just Yoda Space Cage or Yoda underscore Cage. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch, I'm on YouTube. I post speedruns and do speedrun stuff. I play Smash as well, if you're into that. And also, I just wanted to mention, this game is less than 10 runners. It is very, very underrated. No one knows about it. That's why I've been doing these runs, marathon runs and stuff. If you're interested in running the game at all, no one's really like stepped up and said I am so far, which is, but I'm just gonna plug it anyway. I made a tutorial series on this game for all the different worlds. There's a Discord on the speedrun.com page for speedrunning this game and the sequel. If you're interested in running the game, message me. We can help you get the game. We can help you learn the game. Just putting that out there because this game deserves more runners. It does a 6 speed run. But yeah, that's basically all I had to say. Thanks everyone for the grats, and the run was definitely below my standards because like I just did a low 28-minute marathon run like last weekend, but that's okay. I'm glad I just got to show up. Yeah, I'm
GG's.
Yeah, GG's, sure. I'm just glad I got to show off the game. So.
You said less than 10 runners for this. We've talked about a small speedrunning community for a game.
Yeah, it's definitely deserves more, but it's a hard run to learn and it's intimidating, obviously. So like, because this is how insane it is. But even if you don't want to speedrun it, just play it. It's a fun game.
Sure, or maybe if you just happen to like your Wii remote controller.
Yeah.
You get along with it. You want to play this.
Yeah. For sure.
Thank you for your time today. Awesome. I mean, it was still a sub 30. You're still happy, right?
Yeah,
like,
it was all right. It was still far below estimate, so that's fine.
Still, that was so fun.
Yeah, glad to do the run. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for showing us. Thanks for having a good time and with us and answer our questions. Don't forget, you have to name the snowman.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Definitely. That's for top of my list.
Okay.
Definitely. I'll brainstorm today. Don't worry. All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Thanks.